Yeah, hello. My name's Philip Wright. I'm the original singer drummer from Paper Lace. I'm the next guest On Screen and Beyond.
On Screen and Beyond, an inside look into the entertainment world featuring interviews with people from the movie, TV, and music industry, news on upcoming TV and DVD releases, and the rumor mill. And now, here's the host of On Screen and Beyond, Brian Zemrak.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of On Screen and Beyond. I'm your host, Brian Zemrak, and this is a show that brings you a celebrity guest each week from the movie, TV, or music industry, as well as keeping you updated on what's coming your way as far as remakes, sequels, prequels, upcoming new movies, TV and movie DVD releases, and the rumor mill. This week's guest on Screen and Beyond is Philip Wright, leader of the band Paper Lace, who gave us the hit songs The Night Chicago Died and so many more. If you were over in England, they had more over there than they did in the United States. He's coming up in a few minutes, so get ready to bring back some memories. And I hope you have been enjoying On Screen and Beyond, either on video or on audio, on whatever platform you get us on, because it's so much fun doing these, and I hope you're enjoying them. Be sure to tell a friend and take a look back at all the incredible past guests we've had over the years. Over the majority of the years, 17 years, they have always been on audio. Now we're on video also, but we have all those older episodes we've had that you can listen to when you're working out, jogging, whatever you're doing. And there's some amazing guests there. Many of them, unfortunately, are no longer here. So if you want to hear their story and bring back memories of either music, TV, movies, it's all there at On Screen and Beyond. And you can check that out on all the podcast providers and at onscreenandbeyond.com, and also on YouTube with just the most recent episodes. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can send them to me at feedback@onscreenandbeyond.com. Love hearing from you, so keep those emails coming. It's great to hear from you. Philip Wright of Paper Lace is coming up in a couple of minutes, but first, it's remakes, sequels, and prequels coming our way right here on Screen and Beyond.
Please hang up and try again.
Remakes, sequels, and prequels. Avatar: Fire and Ash sails onto the big screen on December 19th. October 24th, it looks like Mortal Kombat 2 will be hitting theaters, and Tron Ares is going to be speeding into theaters on October 10th. September 26th, The Strangers Chapter 2 will be stalking theaters, and Ralph Fiennes will play the villain role of President Snow in the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. And that is it for remakes, sequels, and prequels. Next on Screen and Beyond, upcoming new movies. Upcoming new movies, Brie Larson will star in a film called Wild Ride. It's a creature horror movie from producer J.J. Abrams. And John Travolta will be in a faith-based action thriller called Syndicate. So look out for John Travolta once again in another film. Tom Cruise will star in Deeper, an underwater supernatural film, something different for him. And Ryan Reynolds and Colin Hanks are making a documentary on the life of John Candy, who died in 1994 at the age of 43. That's it for upcoming new movies. Coming up next on Screen and Beyond, movies and TV on DVD and streaming. Movies on TV and DVD and streaming, July 22nd, Sinners with Michael B. Jordan goes 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD. And Hurry Up Tomorrow from Jenna Ortega and The Weeknd lands on DVD on July 22nd. The White Lotus Season 3 come to DVD on September 9th. And the 1953 classic Shane with Alan Ladd gets the 4K treatment on July 15th. And that's it for movies and TV on DVD and streaming. Next on Screen and Beyond, it's TV and entertainment time. TV and entertainment time. We got some good stuff coming your way. It looks like 911 Nashville. That's going to be a new spinoff on ABC in the fall on Thursdays from 9 to 10 p.m. And it looks like CBS has a mid-season show. Okay, so it's not going to be in the fall. It's probably going to be, I'm not sure of the exact date, but it's probably going to be after January or something. But anyways, a mid-season show lined up for Sundays at 9 to 10 called Y, the letter Y, Marshals. That stars Luke Grimes as Casey Dutton. You've heard that name before, of Yellowstone, as he joins an elite unit of U.S. Marshals bringing range justice to Montana as they wage war on violence. And I'm sure he's going to have some violence for him. And it looks like The Bondsman, starring Kevin Bacon, has been canceled on Prime Video after just one season. And that is it for TV and entertainment time. Philip Wright of Paper Lace, The Night Chicago Died, next right here on Screen and Beyond. Our guest today on Screen and Beyond is the lead singer of the band Paper Lace, who in the 70s gave us the hit songs The Night Chicago Died, which went #1 on the Billboard charts in the US and #3 in the UK. And in the UK, he also had hits in the top 40 like Billy Don't Be a Hero and The Black Eyed Boys. It's Philip Wright. Philip, welcome to On Screen and Beyond.
Nice to be here.
Now, Philip, this group that you were in, and then you guys are still going, is that correct? You're still playing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this is a long stretch, because can you believe that it was 51 years ago that The Night Chicago Died topped the charts in the US and like I say, was #3 in the UK?
Yeah, I keep reminding myself. It's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, now, we had different things that went on. In the U.S., The Night Chicago Died hit #1.
Yeah.
But you also had the song Billy Don't Be a Hero, which went #1 in the UK, but in the United States, it was Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods that hit it here.
That's right.
Yeah. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, Mercury, who were the I believe the record company in the States, they were dragging their heels somewhat, and I don't know why they delayed stuff, but while the deal was being finalized, Bo Donaldson actually learned the song and thought it was good and released it, and it got to #1, and stole our glory, basically. And I have spoken to him since, Bo Donaldson. We've communicated on a number of occasions, and he actually rang me up, and my wife answered the phone, and she said, "Who's speaking?" And he said, "This is Bo Donaldson. I'm the guy that pinched your husband's glory." He's quite a nice bloke, actually.
So you guys never got to meet each other, have you, in person?
No. I mean, we've never toured the States.
You've never toured, yeah.
Not at all. So, it's still open there. I'm still trying to sort of get over, and I believe there's as big a nostalgia market in the States as there is in the UK.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been to a lot of different concerts and things with the groups from the 60s and the 70s and everything, and the turnout is amazing. The amount of people. Yeah, and the songs you did, they just they have a special meaning for people my age. As I get older,
Yeah.
But it's and the songs that you played were just so fun. They weren't. I mean, the subject of The Night Chicago Died is kind of,
Serious, yeah.
Yeah, but it was done in such a way that you could enjoy the song and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have this reputation that any song that Paper Lace actually sings, generally somebody gets shot.
Jeez. Now, now you guys didn't write that song, correct? That was
No, that's right.
was it Mitchell?
Mitch Murray and Peter
Mitch Murray.
Callender.
Yes, yes. They were quite a team, a songwriting team, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. They were responsible for huge amounts of hits in the UK. Freddie and the Dreamers, they wrote all their hits, 60s stuff. Jerry and the Pacemakers, I think they've written a couple for Cliff Richard, one for the Tremolos. They were multi-millionaires when we met them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, now how does that work? Did the record companies connect you with these guys, or did you know them and they offered you the songs, or how does that work?
Oh, what happened was we did in 1970 we did an audition for a talent competition that was in the UK and on television in the UK called Opportunity Knocks, and one of the we won it several times. I think we were on TV with an audience of something like 7 million. We were on TV for 4 weeks on the trot, sort of thing. And during that time, I know that Peter Callender's wife, Connie, was a big fan of Opportunity Knocks, and she knew that they'd written this song, and the plan was that they would give it to somebody established. But she sort of said to Mitch Murray and Peter Callender, "Look, why don't you give it to these guys? And launch their careers, if you like, because they seem pretty good." And so that was the initial thing, and they got in touch with our management, and we went down. We met Mitch Murray and Peter Callender, heard the song, and we thought, this is amazing. I think we've got a hit record here, and yeah, the rest is history.
Hi, this is Albert Hammond, and I'm on Screen and Beyond.
Prior to Paper Lace,
Yeah.
were you musically inclined when you were a young kid in school, or did it not happen until the four of you connected together and then you started playing in a band? Or what was your journey as far as going through to get into music?
Yeah, I was encouraged by a very enthusiastic music teacher at school. I was 13. My mum bought me a kit of drums because I was always tip-tapping on bits and bobs and furniture, and so I had this leaning towards percussion. There was another two guys in the class who played guitars, and at that time, I think when I was 13, the only role models that we had were the Shadows, the only group. So our music started. We started playing the Shadows music, and there was no vocals at that time. Then we progressed. We started singing. I started singing, and yeah, that's how it all started, really.
Yeah. How did you guys decide who was going to sing? I mean, the other guys did backups and things, but how did they decide, okay, you are going to be the one that's going to be the lead singer?
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. It was strange at the time. We had a lead vocalist. I mean, this wasn't Paper Lace or anything. This was a, I forget the name of the band, but it was all we wanted to be was in a band.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we had a lead singer and all the rest of it. And then somebody said, "Well, you can sing, can't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I can." And I used to sing one number. It was a Beatles song, in actual fact, and I progressed from there, really. Very strange. And then I went, when I left school, I started an apprenticeship. I was an apprentice toolmaker for 5 years. And when I came out of my time, when I was 21, the band we went professional, and I got married, and lots of things happened. And we that band, which was called Music Box at the
Music
time.
Box, yes.
Yeah, and then it morphed into Paper Lace.
Yeah. How'd you come up with the name Paper Lace?
We were it was strange actually. We were looking through, just looking for a name. One of the guys picked up a book of things to make, and there was one section, things to make out of paper, and you used to get a piece of paper and fold it 4 times, tear little pieces out of it, and when you opened it up, it was a doily, and it was under Paper Lace, and it was a bit of a eureka moment. Everybody looked at one another and said, "Oh, Paper Lace, oh, that sounds great." And then the identification in Nottingham. Nottingham is the centre of the UK, or was at that time, UK lace industry. So everybody said, "Oh, you're from Nottingham. Oh, it's lace. Yeah, yeah, yeah." And we didn't deny it. We sort of said, "Yeah, that's fine."
Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Huh. So now, what was your first hit record that you heard on the radio, and how did you feel when you heard them?
Well, our hit record.
Your hits for Paper Lace.
Well, it was Billy Don't Be a Hero.
Billy Don't Be a Hero.
And it was strange. You used to have to ring the BBC I think it was on a Tuesday. You rang the BBC to find out your chart position, or were you in the charts. I mean, we've done a couple of TVs, and we've done an initial Top of the Pops performance as a new release, and we were flabbergasted really, because it was going up the charts, and one particular time I rang up. It was in actual fact, it was in March of 1974, the week of the 16th or the 17th of March. I rang up, and I was told that we were at number one. And it was a bit sort of, crikey, this is it, we've made it, we've done it, and that was never really, it was never really a target. It was never really what we wanted to do. All we wanted to be was in a band, and success just came along with it really. As soon as we got attached to Mitch Murray and Peter Callender as a songwriting team, and bear in mind that in the 70s all bands really had ghostwriters. There were very few bands that were actually writing their own material.
Yeah. There's I've had quite a few different songwriters on, and it's amazing the amount of people that they have written for, and all these songs. And of course, a lot of times you don't hear about the songwriter. You're always thinking about Paper Lace, or the Beatles. Well, the Beatles, they wrote their stuff, so that's different. But it's, you don't think of the songwriters as much, so they don't get as much notoriety as you would.
No, that's correct. Yeah, I know. And really, the song itself is a lot more powerful than the actual person that recorded it. I mean, there's a lot of, in the States, I think when we first released the follow-up that was, for us anyway, with The Night Chicago Died, the Americans thought that we were an American band. They didn't know that we were Brits.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a shock, I think, for people. But yeah, as I said before, we've never actually toured the States. I've been trying to get over there to find out, get a contact, a promoter, but it's very difficult. It was very difficult back in the day in '74, when actually performing or touring a different country was a really hard deal, and you couldn't do it on your own. You had to have an input from your record company. And Mercury at the time weren't prepared to put anything into the band, because they said, we can get a number one without the band being here.
Yeah, but you would think that they would want to, because the more popular you become, the more records you're going to sell, which is what they're shooting for. They don't, they want more money.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a it went platinum in actual fact the night Chicago died. I've got a platinum disc for that, and I think that was for sale for sales in excess of 2 million.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Now, was there any groups that you guys aspired to be, or influenced you with your music?
I grew up with the Beatles. That was the band, really. We were Cliff and myself. Cliff, we lost actually in 2023. He was the other original. Now I'm the only original in the band. But he and I were both avid Beatles fans, and you could sing a song from an album, and the next song that you sang was the next song on the album. You just learnt them in order.
Yeah,
you could go through a process of singing a particular album and go through all the songs within it. And Beatles songs, I think when you pick songs out of an album, any one of the Beatles songs could have been a hit, single hit.
Yeah.
Just so many. I mean, it is. I'm a massive Paul McCartney fan still.
So am I.
He's the bionic scouse. he's just amazing. Yeah. And his writing is just superb. I love it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Every time I've seen him so many times, but every time I've seen him, it's like he's playing, 2 and 3 hour concerts. It's like, and then you'll see a new band, come out or something, and they play an hour, and it's like, okay, how does this guy, he's getting on in age, and it's incredible his stamina to go on stage and just sing. And even when he sings for 2.5 hours, whatever, he's just touching the iceberg of the music that he's done. It's just incredible.
Right, yeah, huge catalog, and that must be so difficult. What numbers do I include in a set? What do I do? There's so many to choose from. Yeah,
you can't walk away from a Paul McCartney concert without saying, oh, I wish he had played this song, or I wish he played that song, because there's so many of them.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to meet any of the Beatles?
I literally ran into George Harrison once.
Oh wow!
It was in the sort of Delaney and Bonnie period with Eric Clapton and that sort of involvement, and they were coming out of the studio as we were going in, and I ran without looking up, and I ran into George Harrison, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and didn't realise who he was, and he passed me, and I thought, that was George Harrison.
Wow.
He's just an icon.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
But there's Paul McCartney has a film of a rehearsal, I believe, around the time of Band on the Run, because that was 74 as well as our hits, and he's done a film called.
Was it One Hand Clapping?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. And in actual fact, during that, he sings "Billy Don't Be a Hero."
Really? Wow.
Yeah. About 20 minutes in, McCulloch starts playing the chords, and Paul McCartney sings it.
Wow. So he was probably a fan of you guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, during our set, I tell the story that if you want to see him sing Paul McCartney singing "Billy Don't Be a Hero," have a look at this film. I said, as he's sung one of our records, we'll do one of his, and we do Jet in the
good song.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Terry Sylvester from the Hollies, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and I am on Screen and Beyond.
The Beatles being so much, of inspiration to you guys, when you guys hit it. And, you know, I mean, you had hit after hit in the UK. And also, you know, you were big in the United States, but it was for the one song, "The Night Chicago Died."
Yeah.
But could you walk down the street, or did you gain that much popularity that you were walking down the street and people were chasing you, you know, sort of like Hard Day's Night type thing, you know, and you're running away from fans and all that?
Yeah, there was a period. There was a period when you couldn't. Like, I couldn't go anywhere in public because it was just a, you know, people would be coming up to you, autograph hunters at the time. When I mean, this is a time pre-mobile phones, so there's no sort of selfies or anything like that. It's just, can you sign this for me? Can you sign that? And that's how it was. Especially, as I say, in Nottingham, because we were very popular. We were actually one of the only things to come out of Nottingham as an act, a musical act. I'm still in Nottingham, just outside Nottingham, but yeah, I've been here, born and bred here, and the popularity was quite immense. And they still talk about us because there's been I think there's who else has come out of Nottingham since? There's a guy called Jake Bugg. I don't know whether you know Jake Bugg. He's a guitar vocalist, writes his own material, very good.
Yeah.
Sort of rock and roll era, quite hard rock stuff. But he's the only thing since Paper Lace to come out of Nottingham.
Yeah. Wow. You know, I think of Nottingham and I think of Robin Hood and things like
Of
that.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not around anymore.
No, he had his time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just incredible. I've also had some other people from England, UK, on the show, and David Patton.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pilot.
Yeah. He was. I'm trying to. Was he from Edinburgh or Edding?
Yeah, I think Edinburgh. Yeah, might
Something
be.
like that.
Sounds like that.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, of course, there's a lot of, you know, of course, everything we always think of, you know, London as being the hub of where all the music is coming from, but of course, all of you are from different locations.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you see yourself, you know, looking back at that time, and you know, thinking, you know, oh, I should have done something else. You know, I should have been worked in a mill or something like that. Is it, or is this what you really wanted to do all the time?
This is everything I wanted to do. It was just, I wanted to be in a band. I wanted it's the drug is an instant appraisal of what you do because it's applause. You know, when most art things, you have to display what you do and you have to wait for a reaction. But with music, you get an instant reaction from a live audience. They stand up and clap or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they boo.
Throw tomatoes or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
But how does it feel for you when you start playing, you know, either Billy Don't Be a Hero or Night Chicago Died or any of the other songs you did, and you look out in the crowd and you see the smiles on the face, because it's got to bring out smiles on their faces when they hear those songs.
Oh yeah, I mean, when we start them, there's a ripple of applause, and you know, they say, "Oh, they're playing this song." You know, it's that sort of reception that we get. And it drives you on. It's you think, "Oh, they recognize it," and still.
I would love to see you guys in concert. I mean, it would be, I'm sure it'd be a thing. So are you still touring? You said you were, but do you have any events that are coming up where you're going to be playing or anything that we can let the audience know about? Because I get a lot of listeners and viewers from England.
Yeah, we're. I mean, the next gig I think is 1st of June. We're in doing a couple of gigs in Eastleigh, which is Hampshire, I believe, in the UK. I'm working on trying to get a tour of Australia again. We've been to Australia. We went in 2017. We went in 2023 because we had a gold album over there, and Australian audiences are one on their own. They are so receptive, and they want to know all about you, what you've been doing. They like the chat, the sort of communication, audiences and things. They like to know what the band is doing, and they're very attentive. And we love playing over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been
Well,
to Australia, we've been to New Zealand, we did a bit through Europe, but the songs in weren't as popular in Europe as they were in Australia and the States.
wow. Huh. Well, sometimes when you're flying over the United States to get to Australia, stop in here and and give us some good music too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm lucky really because my voice, as lots of people say, well, it sounds just the same as it was in, and I think, yeah, well, that's thank you very much. I'm blessed with that, so I can still do it, and we can still do it in the same key. So
Wow.
yeah, it's the
Huh.
same.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Because of course, as we all get older, our voices change and everything like that.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um,
I had somebody else on quite a few years back, and they it was similar. They when they sang, you could have sworn that you were back in the 70s when they when
yeah,
they had their hit. I mean, it was like, wow, your voice hasn't changed.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's just it's incredible that you can still do those songs in the same key, especially. That's
Yeah, yeah. I'm thankful for that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, Philip, I want to finish up with one final question,
yeah.
and it takes us away from music and everything you've done and all the hits that you've had. But when you sit back and relax, what do you enjoy on TV and at the movies? What's your favorite TV shows now and of the past? And what's your favorite movies now and of the past? What do you enjoy?
I like detective thrillers. That is that's my bag. I think
Hmm.
I'm always attracted to that sort of thing. There's a lot of series on on um, on TV now. The last thing I really enjoyed was a drama called Slow Horses. I don't
Ah,
know whether you know that.
yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah, haven't seen
Yeah,
it,
and
but I've heard it.
it's so good. It's a series that's on TV. I think it's yeah, I think it's I watch it on Apple TV,
Hmm.
and that is amazing. But my daughter is a set designer for films.
Ah,
She lives in Ireland, and at the moment she's in Corfu in Greece, um, doing the third part of. There was a series of murder mysteries. One was called the Magpie Murders. Then
hmm.
there was the Marigold Murders, and now there's Marble Hall Murders, and they're all Stanley Horowitz, and she's doing the sets at the moment. It's actually depicted in the south of France, but France is very very expensive to actually film,
Hmm.
so they've decided to do, because the architecture is similar of what they're looking for. They've decided to do it in Greece. So
Hmm.
she's in Corfu at the moment, and yeah, I'm just waiting for the results of her toil.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
did that was supposedly that was the last question, but you brought up something that made me wonder. Do you think she got into the entertainment business because of her dad?
No, I don't think so. She actually went to university and did a spatial interior design course. She was always interested in graphics and that sort of thing. But then she did media courses and this, that, and the other, and then realised that she did a photographic course, and realised that's where she wanted to create something that people would photograph, and set design was the thing that she went for, and she's very good at it. She lived in London for 10 years, and she did a lot of TV. She did a couple of series of Silent Witness. She did, I don't know whether you know that particular series.
Yes,
but,
I do.
Then she did a couple of Saturday programs. She did a couple of Top of the Pops, all about set design and all the rest of it. And then she moved to Ireland, and Ireland is the film maker's perfect location. And she had to change, really, because she'd been dealing with TV. She had to change because she's gone in now. She's doing films, and as I say, it's all word of mouth. She's freelance anyway, and she's got loads of work to do. So my grandchildren in Ireland, I've got one grandchild, Finn, who's 19, and another one, Ruben, who's 15, and Ruben plays drums. I gave him one of my kits, and Finn plays guitar, and I gave him a white Strat that I'd got, and he plays that, and they're both in and out of different sort of groups, but very interested in music. And
could there be a Paper Lace 2 coming up here somewhere back?
I don't know, but they because of their dad, my son-in-law, he's of real music sort of influence, and they've been brought up. Finn is a big Beatles fan, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah. Well, you sound like a very proud father and grandfather.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got four grandsons, if you like. Got two in the UK. One's a farmer. One's he's in the building trade, and then I've got the two in Ireland.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, Philip, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to share with us and let us know about the origins of Paper Lace and all of that. And I thank you so much. Love your songs. You guys are great.
It's nice to know that someone's still interested.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Philip Wright of Paper Lace. I want to thank him so much for joining us here and telling his story, and I hope you all enjoyed that. I always loved that song, The Night Chicago Died. Great song, and over in England, I'm sure you liked Billy Don't Be a Hero and the Black Eyed Boys and, just all the stuff they did. Philip Wright, thank you so much for joining us here at On Screen and Beyond. Please subscribe and follow us on Screen and Beyond on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you get the episode as soon as it comes out, no matter when we put it out. But please be sure to tell a friend about us, and I hope you'll continue to join us here each week on Screen and Beyond. Thank you for listening. And that's a wrap for this episode of On Screen and Beyond. So until next time, when we once again take you on screen and beyond, I'm Brian Zemrak. Take care.